Team Elektros versus Legacy Esports, and Legacy has a super fun thing to do here. If they only beat Team Elektros, they open up the chaos. They open the floodgates for Tribe and STM, and they both hope that Team Elektros will lose in their quarterfinal number 1. We're heading straight into draft here. Ems is already picked up on the right-hand side and double swoosh. It's really all about map control, area control. So you want those Terras, Embers, Jester, Crows out of the way. A bull band there on the right-hand side as well. Legacy spending a lot of aggression also with the Mortis and the global bands.
Bull snuck through global bands, and Legacy are not first pick, so they have to ban the Bull. There's just no excuse. The Ember band to me is like pretty interesting. Sometimes you see her slip through quite a lot. No, didn't get picked or banned on this kind of map, but she's very powerful. Leon is pretty good. Leon's pretty good right now.
The lollipop drop is pretty good.
I am actually not a fan of that. I might say, because that Ems has the potential of a Ems Grey Rosa comp, or any substitute tank. And they need a lot of damage from the side of Elektros now to deal with it. And in a pure 1v1, especially on a map like this Ems can easily deal with Leon, also with Anita. I'm not sure where this pick is coming from. Maybe to counter potential Rosa pick, but I'm kind of like this draft from Legacy so far a bit more.
I might be trying to use Bruce to get like some free map control on the weak side of the map here. But again, it's pretty easy to clear Bruce with someone like Ems, because he paths in a pretty predictable fashion, excuse me. Again, like, there's no guarantee that we've had a mid picked up here for Legacy. They might go for something at maybe slightly longer range here.
Bo would be one of those mid picks that are still left open. Janet really like her because she can always evade the danger. Otis is going to be picked up here. Another one of these area control brawlers. They have a really solid comp so far, very safe on the right-hand side.
Which also means, since they didn't pick a mid yet, if Elektros decides to last pick an assassin or a tank, they will just play Ems mid and dominate the mid completely. So they just need to make sure they contain the Nita correctly and the Leon, that they're not sneaking past them, that they're fine into a tank. Honestly, I don't even mind if they will just pick a Rosa right now from the side of Legacy.
We like run a Kaze or something here?
Oh, Lily. I like that.
Okay, so we do have some sort of gem carrier pressure. Also decent vision with the Ems and the Otis here. Obviously, we talked about Janet. She's someone who can, with Boombox, can get that vision of the bushes and make life a little bit easier. It's also where we've seen Jean picked up here, like in some niche cases on the map, because just being able to use a vision gadget and just spam that weak side of the map gives you some advanced notice.
I was about to say they could do something so funny right now and just go with the kit into the Lily. I love that matchup. Now on the left-hand side, we really don't have a gem carry. They all just kind of want to go aggressive, get the bear available, get the supers with Leon. I assume Nita's going to be gem carry, but there's just really looking to kill the gem carry on the other side in the end.
I don't think they need one. They have double assassins, create pressure for Nita. You don't even need the gems. Just play until you get hyper charges, get them with gems. Once it's 0 to 10, go in with your hypers. Simple as that.
This is going to be our first map here for a quarterfinal number 1 in North America. If you had to side with a comp, which one would it be, Semantic?
I kind of like Legacy's a bit more. I know it's harder to pull off because there's double assassins, but they have this Ems that is not that easily assassinated if she's playing the correct gadget. And you have this Otis who, honestly, in my opinion, just should be able to 1v3 this comp here. And the Lily with a hyper can go quite insane as well. We have a right dash from a kid here, does not get the kill, unfortunately, and Anita trying to sneak up on the top side as well.
Okay, seems like the execution has been a bit of a pain point so far for Elektros. Memen makes a dive, but there's no backup pressure there from Snowy whatsoever. Rafiki's able to get pretty far forward, an easy super on towards Memen, so that's the kit out of the picture already. Snowy here, able to run Zeus down, and the lollipop drop can be abused to some degree as Rafiki is handled, and now Elektros have a chance to really get into the map.
Losing full control like that is not something you want with a more control-based comp. Thank God Elektros actually did not capitalize on them. They did not push too much further, so Legacy was able to hold their grounds and hold some control. But look at the kid on the top left trying to go in with, but gets the way to dodge roll. Kid completely neutralized with that. Is not getting any value. He's still going down, but unfortunately, the gems are still in the favor for Legacy Esports here.
Love this from Snowy. Body blocking with the bear and faux fur to make sure the damage follow-up isn't going to be there, even though Snowy was muted up by the Otis. But here's another strange dive. Like, this is a little disjointed. The kid goes in, but there's no one else to help actually get that elimination.
The only good thing she's getting from that is her hyper charge. As soon as she has a hyper, there's no one actually to stop her from getting a double kill or perhaps even a triple kill. Now, this Lily is sitting there with a hyper ult, looking for the gem carrier. That Leon just exposed himself. Lily might look for a way to go for him.
Dwayne has to be careful. I think he knows it. Lollipop drop in play yet again. Snowy actually steps up instead. We've got a split of gems across Elektros here. Both Snowy and Doin need to come forward though. Here's the Hyper Bear now in play. Fofo active. Rafiki gonna duck down into the Shadow Realm now and look for Snowy as he pops on out. There's a Hyper Charge Super gonna be activated. Memen's the one that's pulled down though, and he doesn't have the gems. Rafiki could have picked anyone but the kid to try and hit with that super. Instead finds a wrong target. Still, Memen unsuccessful on that dive, and we're 9 apiece in gems.
Quite a fumble of a mispositioning of Rafiki here with Lily. Gems are in favor of Elektros. Account in the starting. Full control though for Legacy Esports. The kid Invis got exposed. He's jumping, misses the jump. Zulan with a gadget. Comes in clutch. The Lily on the bottom gets the kill as well. Kid is down. Full control for Legacy Esports. Snow trying to grab the jet. Actually got it. Goes down with it. That's a crucial death right here.
Now this comp working out pretty nicely for Legacy there. Doin's trying to come forward. Zulan a little bit low, carrying 17 gems and is able to walk away. Sick super there. Doin dragged into the Shadow Realm. Nothing that really he could do about it as Zulan walks away with the whole clutch. Over the top's an option. Here come the Yarn Balls, but Zulan stays alive for long enough. Here come Legacy, and they aren't messing about.
I am telling you, this Leon is not a win condition this matchup. He is not able to go aggro. He's even the gem carry, which means he especially cannot go aggro. And who of them is actually going to get the kill? Who of them is creating the pressure? Because if just Kids jumps in over time, there's not enough support to make anything out of it.
The follow-up hasn't been there for many of these Kid supers. And honestly, it could have gone even worse on the side of Legacy. There is, when we see the Lily hypercharge, it ends up being on the kid who has no gems. Despite that, Legacy is still able to take the round.
Now, slower gameplay, Nita on the bottom right. Just waiting for a good opportunity. The scan on the kid is Zulan gonna know it. He's gonna come with the gadgets. It's not gonna be enough. He's gonna jump on the Leon as well. Gets some nice control of that. Nice Lily gadget. Creates some more pressure. I think that kid jump might not be that good for him. There's a Lillian behind him. Can he get a kill? He cannot.
Rafiki gets caught out. That's going to open up the map a little bit more. 3 gems to 1. Doin going in. Getting ahead, of course, of that gas spray from Zulan. I mean, we know that she can certainly suffer when you get past that gas spray and in her face.
And that was really smart from Leon as well, because he knew the gadget was not in time there because he used it for the kid earlier. So he went in with an ult in Zulan's face to secure the kill there. Now, Zeus on the right side is creating a lot of pressure with the ult. It's pretty hard to deal with him on this map, especially. Nice gadget scanning off the kid as well. Lily and Rafiki now with 3 gems at his hand cannot go to aggro, which is pretty bad because he does need a hypercharge to make the crucial play at the end game.
Zulan here scouting that left side bush with a couple of those M's bursts, just trying to make sure no one's creeping up the miss. The lollipop shot's going to let Memen get close. Zulan, too healthy. Snowy doesn't have the damage, and in fact gets punished as Rafiki comes in, and the Lily's built up a hypercharge. It's almost impossible to get back into the game from this point as the countdown for Legacy has begun.
Kid, unfortunately, must be at least 25% away from Hyper. I don't think there's a miracle about to happen there. All eyes on Vanita. If she's 1 shot away from Hyper, Leon is close with hypercharge was coming in. Kid jumps, secures 1 kill. Lily has the shot, goes to another one. Gems are flying all across, but Legacy Esports is still having 9 of them. Unfortunately, the last gem, the countdown gem, is in the hands of Elektros.
Now there's time at least for Elektros to continue to make use of this map control. It's Legacy stuck inside their spawn. Super now developed for Memen. That's going to be key to dive on in. Here's a Hyper Bear in the backline. This could be a bit of a problem. He's going to come and hit Rafiki mighty hard, and the gems are spilled. Doin's able to step up and get 8. Happy enough with that for the time being, because look at all the gems around the well. He'll walk away with 12 to his name.
I don't even know how you're going to come back this. There's a kid probably 1 shot away from Hyper. Zulan is going to pop his Hyper. They're trying to commit before his teammates should have waited a second longer. Perhaps the kid jumps. The Bear's down. The Lily ult is down. Nothing is happening though. 3 seconds to go. Do they have the time for damage up? But it's simply not there. In the corner with 1000 HP. Elektros takes game 2.
Doesn't get much closer than that. The Ems comes in with a hypercharge ready, and Memen sees an opportunity to stop the Ems in her tracks. So she can't bring that empowered caustic charisma into spawn and threaten the gem carrier. Then, of course, the Lily steps up, but it's 1v2 for Rafiki, and they aren't able to get them to drop those gems. Pretty sick endgame there. It came down to the wire.
2 big problems from the side of Legacy Esports. 1, that Lily having too many gems, not having an effective hypercharge ult. 2, Zula not being just way too high up, because the threat of Kid jumping on the Ems is basically the game-changing threat here. That's when you can go in, because the Lily will not be able to 1v2. She has no gadgets to take care of that. Kid jump coming in, just securing a bit of damage from Vanita. Getting her ult, she's 4 shots and 2 shots away from Bear. 1 shot away from Bear now from Vanita.
Now, nice little gadget used there by Rafiki. 1 gem picked up by the Lily. Not always who you want to have in possession. It's not the lion's share of them at the very least. Memen able to get rid of the Lily though. Rafiki brought down. Zulan now spotted in mid. Doin wants to at least pressure this Ems away. So map control goes to blue side.
Such an important stuff for Memon. So look how many hits he's been getting. He's probably already halfway to his hypercharge. The worst possible start you want to have against the kid right here. Bear coming up as well, pushing with Otis on the top right. He's trying to hit as every damage shot they can. It's just not enough. Lily Hyper wasted underneath. What does that kill gain you?
Memon has to back away. Flashing super there. We're going to just duo up here. We're doing good damage on Zeus. Very, very low is the Otis, who's just developed that mute button. And it's 4 gems to 5. Legacy obviously still holding them. Zulan has been able to stay away from the heat so far.
This is the moment that they need to go aggro. They know Kid doesn't have ult. She just used the gadget. They need to make a play. And that's what I think is doing on the top left. Kid is getting exposed. Has to jump as well. And I think he hits an ult that he did not intend to hit. Snoy is alone and a 1v3. It's not enough. Zulan has all the gems right there. Countdown for Legacy Esports.
See how impressive that Ems can be in moments like this. Rafiki now just trying to play and run some interference. Get up in the face of Elektros. 7 seconds left. Is there a kit super? No. Memon has no way to really get to Zulan for the time being. Fat Splatter on the ground, slowly trying to get around the edge. 1 second left and not enough time to get those gems loose. Legacy putting their best foot forward here in this first set. Shocking Elektros.
I absolutely love this. It's back and forth, the hyper usage, ult usage. Crazy game of gem grab we just had.
Yeah, sick. Honestly, it always feels like when you've got Lily, when you've got Kit, when you've got these dive-oriented brawlers, when you've got playmaker compositions, you get these really frenetic, exciting moments where both teams are trying to go after one another's gem carrier. And I've got to say, the Ems is a tough target to go for. Even if you have that Kit dive, Zulan has friend zoner. You've got potential to stun if you can line that up and hit the wall correctly. The Nita in the mix here as well for Snowy means that you can bully into this top grass area. I don't know, Sonny. I feel like Memon was on point on this kit. A lot of free damage, a lot of free supercharge, just from good mechanics hitting people around the edge of these fences.
And still it wasn't enough in the end. Rafiki on that Lily sniping away the gems more often than just once and getting the win for Legacy Esports in a way. It was really just Zulan being the solid mid, never going down, and then Rafiki wreaking havoc in the opponent's lanes. We see it here, 15 kills on him. On the other side, yes, we had some great drawings also from the Kid and the Leon, but I feel like what they were really missing is that stability. They have the Nita already that just can't really deal with any of the opponent's brawler on her own. She needs some help from the 2 assassins, and they're playing together. They're going in aggressive, but they have no backup. They lose to gems. And yeah, Legacy Esports runs away with that. In the end, the 5% who actually voted for Legacy were right.
So far.
They saw something in them. It's 1-0. Just saying, we did have that happen in the past, that the supposedly really strong team are losing.
I just copied his
just
spread, dude.
qualified for the first time
yeah,
for the
really
monthly
game.
final.
That's crazy. I take no responsibility for this. I just copied his spread.
One thing as well about that Nita matchup, her hypercharge was so strong. The Bear did so much, honestly, for the push at the end. It's just, as Sunny said, you're just not getting it. It's just not enough support to get it, and that's really sad to see.
Also, like, you're only getting damage done as Nita when the Lily comes to you. Yeah. Outside of that, like, you're utterly outranged by the Otis, and you don't want to get close enough to Ems to actually hit her, right? You actually operate in her optimal range. Terrible matchup for you. So, yeah, picking a brawler purely defensively is rough. I do think that, like, Fofo Hyper Bear is a great way to take control, but outside of that, you're not generating them nearly frequently enough.
And on the other side, you also have a Otis and Ems against you as the Leon and the Kid that wants to go aggressive. So they couldn't really go in aggressive without getting punished for it. We're now heading over to dueling Beatles. We're in hot zone and we see the brawler here already. Leon is going to be the #1 player on a map like this one, thanks to his lollipop drop once more, if he's even open.
Going in, right into draft. I assume brawlers you want to have banned for here is for sure Cleanse global ban. Bull as well, you gotta take care of them. Ems and Leon, as we said already. We have a Grey ban, the Meeple ban, the Leon ban. These are Finks bans, kind of / Ems bans. I think a Finks might be doable here because of the Meeple. Or they go crazy and go for potential Lu 1 to set up their game. Oh, Pierce 1. Well, that is a bit early in my opinion because he can get countered pretty easily from Mina. With a Crow ban as well and the Stu ban that you have in your hands, this is really easy Mina pick here from Legacy Esports.
I do think those Pierce Supers are pretty impactful here, right? It is a sharpshooter that actually can still function when there are walls in play and not being cleared. So that's obviously, a very potent option. We're thinking about brawlers with, effective zone denial, right? Lu's already been raised. We've seen Spike at times brought onto this map, but a little bit weak as a side lander because of that limited range and being a little squishy. But we've seen Life Plant used to actually set up an assassin brawler on that team to have, throw the Life Plant out, have a brawler play around it. Of course, we have this Finks coming in.
Symantec already called it. The Finks bans are in place, and they wanted to have Finks on the right-hand side indeed. Now, left-hand side could still go with a bit more range. They probably want to break open the map regardless. If you have a Pierce, that's what you want to do. So maybe a Ruffs later on. Penny is going to be picked up here. They have the turret now, which is super, super strong on a map like this one, if you can get it efficiently. On the left-hand side, they might have wanted to pick up a Bull or something aggressive. Now into Penny, I would not recommend.
Can they Pam against these Finks?
The big problem they have right now is there's the Barley last pick, so they're forced to go Assassin, potentially, or Bull. But if you go that, they're just going to change the last pick to some kind of anti-tank last pick, which could even be a Griff, could be a Pam last pick, I'll be down for that. Or just a Mina as well, or Combo. There's so many possibilities for Legacy Esports that I don't like how Elektros draft is going. And if they do indeed go defense, erupts into a Penny, by the way, I absolutely hate. Even if you break the map, that's a horrible matchup for you to have. And that Barley last pick is going to be quite good.
But as I said, they kind of have to. If you have a Pierce on your side, you want to break open the map. I agree with you though. Pierce as first pick, not something I see too often.
I mean, I feel like if you don't take him first, you're giving him up almost guaranteed, because then Legacy get 2 picks back to back. They can Finks Pierce, or they can obviously, you know, take some really powerful balls there. So Ambit around things out. Interesting. Obviously, effective side laner, pretty good against tanks as well.
I have a cook-off a pick, and that will be Piper. I know that Ruffs could be annoying, but a Piper into an Amber on a Pierce, especially if they break the map, the Finks is probably fine on itself, and mid, the Penny will be fine on the side. If you go something like a Piper, they'll be fine. They will be so good, actually. You could have an easy assassin like a Lily yourself, if you really want to. You can also go Thrower, some kind of Sprout, or just Barley for the healing will be fine as well. A lot of options here for the side of Legacy Esports.
I wanted to see a Poco come, honestly. We're in NA. I wanted to see Poco. I'm disappointed. Maybe we're going to see him later on. He has a 76% win rate, by the way, in NA. On this particular map. Sprout is going to be the last pick. We already called it. They wanted a Thrower on the left-hand side. Now it's picked up on the right side. Walls put back in place when the Ruffs has broken it open, is how I would explain that pick.
I mean, I do think that against sharpshooters, shutting down those long sight lines, hedge is really important. You don't have the zone denial or potential healing tonic, you know, that Barley offers you, but I think you can really just shut the map off and set up for your team.
It's beautiful how Symantec is like giving us a sign, oh yeah, what we said was correct, I'm glad.
100% agree. That's why you go Sprout over Barley for the walls and shutting the snipers down. Now, we have a Ruffs with not Sandbags. Of course, you don't want to go Sandbags into a Penny and a Sprout, so he's playing with Meteor, get it here. 1v1 on the right side with Finks and Sprout, playing with mid here, but Pierce needs to be the left side, which is why Pierce is just not that good of a brawler, because he's literally scanning grass as a brawler where you cannot scan, and now he's getting walled off. They're pushing through mid, don't even need to, they can just chill a bit and wait for a better opportunity, especially when that Penny turret is up.
Yeah, this Meteor gadget at least buys some time for that hedge to dissipate, but it will simply transplant and put back in front of Snowy this time. So at any given moment, one of these Team Elektros players is rendered completely useless. It's a 2v3.
I'm honestly just waiting for that Penny to might even go a bit more aggressive. I think it will be acceptable to feed the Ruffs a bit, just so you get your turret, because there's nothing that can rid of that turret, especially if you place it behind the unbreakable wall and the Sprout supports you.
No walls right now, in fairness. Here comes Snowy. Going to clear this grass away. Rafiki ready for it. Has to step over towards that left-hand side. Memon here dueling with Zeus, who basically dodges that Meteor gadget. That is good enough. No big supers here for Legacy. They really do lean on them heavily, right? Finks, Penny, all of them need those supers in play. We're about to see what Sprout can do with his as well.
Sprout definitely should be swapping lane here. Penny should be on our side, so his walls actually gain a bit more value. Beautiful ult here from Pierce. Beautiful attacks here from him as well. Getting full control, but for rough rates as well, they have easier time to dodge on the bottom left.
Yeah, I mean, those Pierce supers matter. I mean, that was a big chunk down on Zulan. Too low to actually get involved in the fighting any further. And 40% here for Team Elektros, so they've been hitting some of these crucial shots. And Memon has been a bit of a problem for the Penny on this right side of the map. Rafiki is in trouble. Has to really cower behind this indestructible wall.
Not a single ult from Penny or Finks so far. That's why I told you it is fine if you feed the Ruff at the start. All you need is one ult so you can actually go and regain, because if that doesn't happen, you feed them anyway. This is the outcome of it.
Yeah, here's the snowball. Here comes Snowy as well. Hypercharge super at the ready. All this grass can be cleared out. Zulan burning down, and he will fall around the corner. That's exactly where Ruffs wants you, folks. Memon is getting free damage and also keeping his turret all four busy. Zeus is trying to get out, but he's cooked. Snowy literally lighting on fire. Zulan doesn't have a chance to get through, and of course that hypercharge super is not going to bail him out of trouble here. This was an absolute beating.
Absolutely perfect executed from the side of Elektros. They took their patience, they broke the bottom level first so they can dodge the Sprout better. No aggression from the side of Legacy Esports, no Finks ult. The Penny will come way too late. They lost full control as well. The Sprout didn't have impact as well, which is why I kind of thought an assassin would be more helpful to just create pressure for you. Penny gets the turret, you spike it up
Falsified.
yourself. The Things ult as well is really important to counter the Pierce, and it's just nothing is happening here.
Going it over to the right side now, but the plan is the same. You abuse this diagonal to make sure that Rafiki can't get that free damage. Trying to come forward, does get a hit, forced to use that gadget to get on out here. Snowy is going to give some ground now.
Beautiful positioning here from Zeus. Swap the lane away. He's getting some shots off for his turret. Doing is going a bit too active. The Sprout should be getting him, but the shots actually go through a wall and kill the Sprout. Crucial kill here for Memon as well. Full control from the side of Elektros.
Memon might be that guy. I'm not going to lie. Over the course of the series, he's looked fantastic. First the kit and then the Colonel Ruffs. I mean, he's on a brawler here, which doesn't always allow for you to express your skill to the same degree. And yet, he's looked really impressive. Zeus is having the lane swap away from the Ruffs here.
I hope the Penny is really close to turret because she has gotten some shots early already. She just needs to go aggro. You need to commit for it. It's fine if you feed. You gotta make a play. You need that turret for the late game. Big finally has an ult as well. The first ult of the set.
All right, well, it's coming at 42% for Team Elektros. Here already comes Rafiki, lays it down, still going to get spammed down because you're up against an Amber. Much like Pam, it is hard to dodge these spraying projectiles, even with that super in play. Legacy have managed to turn this into a 20% total, but no one's on the point right now. Zulan is forced to retreat. Memon also just commanding this space, and what shots on Rafiki. Stunning work. Hypercharged super here for Snowy. Zulan is about to get toasty.
I can't believe Memon just hit a 1v2 when Zulan finally got control. That is literally the game changer of this game. Incredible pressure for him. Penny turret unfortunately is set up now for the side of Legacy Esports. This game, ladies and gentlemen, is not over yet.
68% and counting. Snowy able to dip a toe at least on the point for the time being. As that Pierce super thrown out, Rafiki falls. Look how low the Penny is. So he's going to come forward, and Memon might be in a position to clear this turret out, but the ankles don't really favor the Ruffs here.
The Sprout is down, the Penny turret is not doing enough. There's no Things ult on the map as well. This game is over. This set goes in the hands of Elektros. We have a 1-1 in our hands, and I didn't dislike the Sprout pick, but apparently just wasn't enough to support your team to break out of your spawn and hold full control. But I must say, Memon doing that 1v2, that was a clutch of the game and probably saved them the game.
Actually sick. Yeah, I was really impressed by what Memon was able to show. Do you actually think there was an outdraft here for Legacy? Because I felt like Elektros won mostly on execution.
I think it's a 50-50 matchup. You literally saw it. Depending on how the start goes, either Legacy wins or Elektros wins. Because imagine Elektros is feeding a Sprout wall early on. Penny pushes up, one wall is blocked, Penny's getting turret early. They're never going to break out of spawn. That will never happen. Things as the ult just for the pure defense. So it's really just the start about these two comps, which Elektros just have perfectly executed. Even though they did a slight mistake and fed Penny a bit and lost a bit of pressure, they just came back immediately out of it and just perfect executed.
First 30 to 40 seconds, I think, are the most important with those comps.
Exactly. And then in the end, the Ruffs got super a bit earlier than the Sprouts. He broke open the map, and after that, Zulan could not really get his super. It was super hard, and Team Elektros gave him a hard time. I completely agree with you there, Semantic. I felt like maybe play the Sprout a bit more aggressive at the start. Even if you go down, at least you have that wall that is so necessary for your team to do anything. And if that wall is in place, Ruffs will also not be able to cycle his super as efficiently. They can get trapped in spawn, and maybe Legacy could have won that one.
They had the wall set up, though, that Sprout wall in the first set, and it looked like, hey, they were in a virtual 3v2, but they don't do anything with it, and they don't want to push into the diagonal that the Pierce is holding, so the wall disappears, and then Elektros move back in and just go back to playing their game.
Which is also why Sprout mid is not as aggressive as Sprout lane. If he walled the enemy while the Sprout was on the lane, he could have pushed up, like Senny is saying. But he was mid, so he kept getting pinched from all enemies off a lane, which is not pinched. So it's basically a 2v2, even though it's a 2v3, as dumb as it sounds.
Yeah.
I think in the end, yeah, you want to cycle your supers, right? There's a couple of brawlers where you can actually do that. With the Sandy, for example, you throw your super down, and after that, the goal is to get another super immediately. With the Sprout, I kind of feel the same. I try to get my super into a place where I can actually get super back for the next interaction.
Sure.
But yeah, they are pro players. I'm not, so I'm sure Zulan is his best.
Yeah, this guy is.
He is, so he did his best.
He did good. There was no major mistake there, by any means. I don't think anyone did any major mistakes where you could say they're through. It's just that the Team Elektros just executed it so perfectly that even as a pro, it is so incredibly hard to break through that.
And look, I think that Elektros...
You're not allowed to talk, you're no pro player, sorry.
I mean, I'm getting paid to do it.
Oh, it's true. Continue.
I mean, I will definitely not talk and still get paid. I'd be happy to do that as well. But I mean, again, I think Elektros, like, the way that first map went, I think it was a tough draft for them. They came into the game disadvantaged. I always feel like every time we watch the Lilycom, the wins tend to favor that team, or at least if they're able to execute that moderately well. They didn't even have to be perfect. I thought the kit was a bit uncomfortable into that. The Nita, like the draft was, yeah. But when we get comparable drafts, or like, two drafts that can work, that have application, and maybe they're super dependent, all of a sudden you can snowball the game if you're Elektros because you are so squeaky clean in your setup. You know how to play into so many of these compositions.
Lily was potentially picked as well for that draft just now. But they didn't want to go it. They could have gone, they went for Sprout, which for me tells me they just like to play more defensive. They don't want to go too aggressive. Even though that Lily, in the first set, they still had this Otis and Ems combo basing the synergy around defense, which is pretty interesting to see so far for Legacy. So maybe they just need more aggression.
We're just getting the players situated once more, so be patient with us. They're going to be right back. They are not affected by any of this right now. We have different metas in every single region. So far, we've only seen 2 different drafts from NA, and so far, I feel like they're drafting pretty much the same as EMEA. Pierce was also heavily featured there. It was the most picked up brawler. Really good win rate as well. And then in East Asia, Jester was the #1 pick in SA yesterday. Bull just was the brawler we couldn't stop talking about. He was picked up very often, had a really high win rate as well. And yeah, it just worked out more often than not. It was the best brawler. And it was something I would have expected to come out of NA as well, at least in the old days, Semantic. You know, you and me. We used to see NA always come out with these poker double tank comps more often than EMEA.
Maybe they got scared lately. Who knows? At the end of the day, they have their own meta, their own ecosystem, as Sunny is saying. So they're developing at their own pace. And sometimes you do see these shade comps from North America, which I would love to see today, that are quite aggressive, which is not a thing in EMEA at all. Because for some reason, North American players are just able to do that double gadget shade tech, where you have double of your gadget, basically that's how it is. And just be able to play the shade on any open map you have, which is pretty insane.
Shade, I thought, was pretty contested in SA at times as well. I think there's probably feels like there's like 6 must-have brawlers at the moment. So the global bans account for 4, and usually it's like Bull and Pierce, or maybe Sirius gets through, and there's usually a couple. So that's why we see, that Bull ban for Red Side, or whoever's sort of not first pick, because that's something you can't really cover all the brawlers. Even with global bans now, we're close to we've got 100 brawlers playable right now. Obviously with more just around the corner. So it's interesting how the global ban has come in, allowing us to virtually ban 10% of the current Brawl Stars roster, and there are still options that feel very powerful, that can really warp the game. That's just how these brawlers tend to sing in the hands of these pro players, which is why I like watching this Elektros squad, because they are very, very tight. They got very, very good protocols. They look sick out there. So I can't wait to see what Knockout has in store for us.
The players are now ready, so we are going to head into our map number 3. We are going to see 4 sets of these 2 teams, because it's 1-1 already. Legacy actually managed to take the first set. Team Elektros tied up in Dueling Beetles, and now we're heading into Golden Coach.
I love the Kit ban, I love the Gene ban, I love the RT ban, I love the Brock ban. All of the clear basic bans. RT might have been changeable for Pierce, because Pierce 1 is quite a bit scary to face against. You really cannot go any type of slow comp. You're forced to go Assassin or Control. Now, Ziggy is banned, Kid is banned, Ollie is banned. What type of Assassin can you possibly go? Mortis is banned too.
Yeah. No, you don't. I mean, Ali? Is that an option? There's not a lot of bush coverage like in the middle part of this map. It's only really around the edges, so it feels like that is a huge risk to take. It really depends. Like, you can kind of play for some like sort of late round strategy here, taking like kit looks you can bring, but yeah, Leon, no shock here. I just feel like he's too good. Not quite good enough to global ban, and he can slip through in the general bans right now, but yeah, something needs to be done about this guy.
They also banned out Gene. Of course, he's super good into the Leon, because you can actually spot him quite easily. What I always like to pick also into this is a Bell, because if he's bouncing with his lollipop drop, he's not going to be as valuable in the end. And Bell overall, a pretty common pick on a map like this one.
They banned the Brock, so I think this should tell you most of what you need to know if you're Legacy. And Angelo somehow sneaks through. This is pretty rare. I'm surprised it kind of didn't go first pick, but this is 2 very good brawlers for Legacy to get.
There's a lot of possibilities for Elektros here to go. They have some kind of Hank Charlie comp if you want to run it. A bit squishy to take or Sprout or something like that, but you will create a lot of pressure on the both sides. You do have a Daryl thrower comp perhaps as well, because that Pierce will be able to easily deal with the defense. Or Daryl, any control comp is fine. You can go for Grey comp as well, which I would love to see. Jaeyoung we have, so I expect him to go some type of higher HP brawler, perhaps a Hank.
Like a Buster here against this Legacy comp?
The problem with a Buster is you don't really deal with a meeple. Okay, they're not even going high HP, they're just going full control. That is a bit interesting, because honestly, Daryl last pick will be quite good in my opinion. Also, that Leon is still tough to deal with.
All right. Yeah, so Meeple obviously comes in and does obviously give you a heck of a lot of play when you've got Pierce who can already hit you from behind walls, and then that Meeple super can be quite painful. And let's not forget, we saw it yesterday, do not underestimate the damage output that Jaeyoung has access to, and also being able to have a really nice healing throughput against a pretty high burst composition that features Angelo is important. Getting your teammates back in the fight after taking one of those hits from Angelo is going to be important.
Not a fan of that into a Meeple. If you get a Meeple boxed ulted, you're dead immediately. Also, a Pierce ult is pretty easy to kill for you.
Bouncy castle in the box. Heal yourself back up.
I would I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. The good thing is, for Legacy Esports, they have a start. There's no abilities from the side of Elektros that is stopping an Angelo jump early, getting some early control, a Leon gadget which allows you to be faster to the enemy spawn, and a Rico just pushing out on the left side of Elektros' left side here that we will see. They cannot stop that possibly. So the start definitely goes to the side of Legacy Esports. They just need to know how to deal with the counter pressure and holding that control and capitalizing on it.
All right, here we go. Jumping now into Gold Arm Gulch. Let's see how this Rico operates without any wall break on the map, and with a Brock ban. Maybe Legacy had already tipped their hand earlier. It's pretty annoying to have to fight Angelo with Lollipop drop invisibility, but they are aware that Zeus is lurking in that right side. Mimin wants to fight Zulan. I respect it, and honestly, with how he's been playing today, I would back him.
I assume Angelo is on Pierce since he didn't jump early and push that. I didn't like the positioning. Yep. There you go, I told you. I would like to Leon positioning better to be a bit more left, so Rico could do a tiny bit more at the start, because he's just fighting this 1v1, where realistically he could be playing with a Leon gadget as well. Another box, and that box actually gives you a tiny bit of ult charge, so if he keeps hitting it and keeps doing like 500 damage, eventually he will be getting his ult. Now, attack on the left side, there's the healing from Rico. Count ult as well, it's not going to be enough, as Noy on the right side is trying his best as well.
Mimin is aura farming here on this Jaeyoung. He is ready to throw down against King Z. Rafiki getting close here, Snow, yep, realizing that we need to heal them up, but still Rafiki absolutely nukes him. That speed in invisibility is ridiculous, and the damage is too much from Legacy.
Now, that's the thing that I said. Legacy Esports does have the start. We just need to see now how the Meeple ult will perform, how the Pierce ult will perform as soon as they get access to the utilities.
Here's that Lollipop drop. Rafiki just hurtles out of it. Zeus here as well, always a threat, can set up easy kills for Rafiki by getting some nice chunk damage. Doin here is grazed. Memon has to play back though and make sure he keeps that Pierce nice and healthy. The diagonal is what Elektros are going to try and abuse for as long as they can, but that means they need to keep the Rico at the top of the map quiet.
Horrible ult from a Leon here. Definitely should have had a bit more patience. All fully committed. Gato coming in now. Isn't getting ult of that? He is not. However, I'm sure the reason why they're putting Spoil, but the kill goes down actually from the Leon on the Pierce. Incredible kill.
He heard you say his ult was horrible. And it just turned up. Bro is not messing about. Still, we're seeing why Leon is such a go-to on this map and in general right now. Oh, buddy, here comes a Lollipop drop. Zeus with a super that will travel with him. And so around him, that AoE damage. Memen got nowhere to go. Weekend Warrior is impressive, but not enough to give the edge to Elektros.
That was exactly that heal gadget that you were talking about from Rico. Even though his box is not that easy to kill, to get with. Crazy kill on the Pierce. I did not imagine that, even though Leon did waste his ult. It's just too hard to fight them early on like that. They just need a better util usage. And maybe just drop the left lane at some point. Just push right at the start, because that Rico has too much of a menace for them. There you go.
All right, over to the right we go to start for Elektros. Obviously that means that there's no access to the diagonal until Doin gets to the top of the map. And there we go, Manchester Meeple's going to be able to clear out that Lollipop drop early.
Best possible start here for Elektros. They finally have some mid-control. No one in their backline, no one being annoying to them. Angelo here getting scanned out. Is on Pierce, so he needs to be really careful to not misposition himself. Pierce is hitting some shots as well. There you go, beautiful taps here from Doin. The Meeple might need to get a box out to get that Leon gadget out. The Leon's going in. Nice damage, a young gadget. Incredible range from that 3v2 situation.
Yeah, sick from Memen, just hits that Leon through the wall with Weekend Warrior. And now is able to heal back up. Zulan trying to really find some angles here. Simple geometry, I guess, as Memen's just going to run Zeus down. He knows he can probably just straight up kill this Angelo. And now Zulan is all alone.
The most important thing in a 3v1 like that is that Meeple gets an ult, so Doin and Memen should not be shooting. That's exactly what they're doing. Perfectly executed from Elektros here to secure that ult, with which now they can actually push the left lane if they're interested in it, but they don't need to.
Yeah, having that Meeple ultimate in the back pocket is going to be massive. Zeus here, holding that long line, as is Rafiki, but Doin says, I will fight on the diagonal, and Zeus is absolutely cooked. Nicely done by Doin. Rafiki having to play through the bush, and Zulan is just looking for a way to get involved in this game. It feels like he's been an ornament.
not a big fan of a PS gadget. I'm gonna be completely honest. I think a jump gadget will just be so much better for the early start to pressure and to escape abilities like that. Now in a 3v2 situation, there's not much you can do. Now 3v1, Zulan will take this L and maybe waste some time so they can think about a strategy how to win the next game here.
Obviously, it started pretty well here for Legacy Esports, but Elektros have recovered. They've started to figure it out, and that Angelo is a very hotly contested pick on this map, but when you've got like a Jaeyong running at you very quickly, who's healed up, can tank one of your shots, and has Weekend Warrior, it's a pretty scary prospect. Great recovery here from Team Elektros. I think they're showing us some of that experience they're beginning to develop. They keep cool heads, they're able to see these strategies and adapt.
Now, what Legacy needs to do to respond to that, split up your lanes. Recon on the left, Andrew in the middle, Leon on the right. You're gonna lock down all 3 lanes here. Let's see if they're gonna do it. They actually triple stack on right, which kind of allows them to just rotate to the left slowly, which is exactly why I didn't like to triple stack like that. Left lane for the side of Elektros.
They've been able to scout some damage here into the lollipop drop, which is about to dissipate. And Rico moving to the top of the map. So Memin has been the aggressor most of the time.
Right.
I mean, bro is just him.
He just 1v2'd them, pushed them into the spawn, and it's full life. Now they're full control. The Angelo is stuck in spawn, he needs to heal as well. Incredible play from Memin.
I mean, Angelo needs some like buddy system level of protection. He cannot simply stand there while getting run down by, you know, a relatively high durability and high speed brawler. So now, Legacy are just caught in this corner. How are they going to break out?
Leon sneaking up on Pierce, that's exactly what they needed. He does have an ult, he needs to do it again though. He got scanned, they know he's in mist, they're just going to fall back to not give him any value. And then Pierce has ult, and that will be really, really scary to come up now. Even though that game, we will get it, he did all 3 of them, incredible damages, Angelus down at 700 HP. This Leon will not be enough to do anything in 1v2, but here comes out from Mariko. But in 1v3, what possible chances does he have?
Yeah, into the gas it is for Zulan, even though he knows his opponents already have their supers. Should have been a clean sheet there for Team Elektros, but they had one perish to the gas. This could be the set right here. Elektros have figured out how to play against Legacy, and they have not slowed down.
Look at that, they know the right lane is clear because Rico scanned it out. They push it immediately, they take the major map control. Beautiful PS here from the side of Angelo. Just getting healed up again from Memin.
Yeah, so much healing from Memin, and then we know he can go aggressive and start to take map control simply by walking at his opponents. Mansions of Meeple there is going to deny most of that lollipop drop area, so no invisibility for Legacy. Doing this, looking for Zulan just to step a little bit too far out. Again, Memin doing the thing, trying to run after that Angelo. Bait some shots. Snowy on the diagonal.
Awful mispositioning from Zulan. He's gonna get pinched right now. He has the healing is boxed, so do they know it? They're going to go in for it. Leon is trying to do it for it. Going trying to help him as well. It's just not enough. No, they did waste the Meeple super, but there's still a Pierce ult on the board. Leon is in this. They do know about it. He needs to commit again. Same thing as last time. Fall back, let him come in peace. There you go. Beautiful from Pierce on Mariko, making him low. And look at Lemon on the right side, pushing up Angelo. Even though he has Angelo, damage is just too much.
Gonna dodge away. Hypercharge active now for Memin. He's Rafiki. He's in the mix, but he's low. Zulan down to 3.6k, and Memin's gonna heal up now. Rafiki, invisible, steps up. Zulan closer to the gas. Snowy stepped a little too far to the left and gets caught first.
A 600 HP victory to fight for the next round. Incredible well played from them. Now, Volt usage are kind of gone, but there's a Pierce Hyper, which is really, really scary. So is a Recall, which I think is not even that far off to his Hyper. Leona's Hyper, dude, this will be an ult fest of the century.
Mansions of Meeple counters most of the lollipop drop duration, but eventually Legacy are able to move into the middle of the map. Rafiki also flashing that hypercharge is ready, and Snowy straight up gets caught out by Zeus.
What a mispositioning mistake by Meeple. Had no get his teammate from back still hitting up, and he just tried to fight something, I'm not sure what, got hit by the bounces, and with paths from Angelo from Zeus right now are just on point. He is not missing.
This is going to be tough now for Elektros to win a 2 versus 3. Zulan's not giving them any obvious opening. Memin, yeah, could try and run someone down, but now you'll be putting yourself in a 1 versus 2 scenario. They'll be biding their time. Still no gas on the map yet. Already hype is built up for every member of Legacy.
This game is not over yet. If Pierce does get this hyper ult, there's still a chance, but the hypers are popping for all 3 members of Legacy Esports. They get both kills
That is
and
massive.
win the next set.
I can't believe what we are seeing here. Legacy have failed to qualify up until this point, and now against the top prospect in North America, they have their backs against the wall. And honestly, it's looked spectacular. We had some questions about how Gold Arm Gulch would go for them because it started well and then it started to look pretty darn weird. But some clutch shots from Angelo in that last round get them ahead.
I do think that Elektros have caught the execution with the ult usage, with positioning mistakes, which is not there. It was exactly played as I said. Legacy Esports gets the start with old usage. Elektros should be winning, but there were just too many tiny mistakes which cost them the game.
Yeah, this was obviously a very close start to the game. But Leon is pretty crazy when he can do things like jump in for those assassinations. Bemin again looked fantastic in a third consecutive set. This time on a brawler that's really supportive and utility focused, but is able to find these opportunities where he can play aggressive, can come forward and force people out of the map.
If Elektros somehow turns it around, make sure you do vote Memin for the MVP on event.brosters.com, because he definitely deserves it so far if they win.
Yeah.
And you get 100 points towards the rewards doing so. I must say here, Team Elektros isn't really looking like they did in February. In March, we already saw that they can be beaten. And now today, I don't know if Legacy is just playing so well that even Elektros isn't looking that strong, or if Elektros, it's just not showing what they did in February. And honestly, we had Snowy in the interview. He seemed very, very confident today, scrimming a lot more often, and they're back on track, he said. Does it look like that?
Everyone in this region's working hard, though. That's the thing. I mean, you're dealing with a Legacy who have been denied monthly finals like 2 months in a row up until this point, and they are full of really talented players that have also been top competitors in North America. So it's not like we're looking at some weird dark horse roster. Our only concern with them was, have they had enough time to gel? Because they have literally some of the best players in NA's history on this team. Looks like they're finding their footing. But something that Snowy said in the interview that stuck out to me was that after that first monthly final win, they started slacking off a little bit in scrims. They weren't communicating quite as much. Maybe just the intensity they dialed back on a little too much. Remember, if Elektros get knocked out in this game, it throws all of our clinching scenarios, it throws all of our Brawl Cup potential for our NA teams for a loop.
And that is something that you have this inexperienced team. The regard of thinking they're too good, so they can take it leisurely on the second month final. And now perhaps as well, the amount of pressure they're feeling right now, they're not used to it. They have Brawl Cup on the line, as you just said. I don't know if they're used to this pressure and if they can perform with that kind of pressure on you, because it is a lot of pressure, let me tell you, as a player.
I mean, I would argue they're probably not used to it. You know, we have been talking about how strong they actually are right now, but this is also still their first ever showing in a BSC. It's their third month, they qualified consistently, but they're still such a young roster. Know each other well from Meteorinos, but this is a different shoe size. We're now heading into safe zone. It could be where Legacy Esports finally clutches it out and make their first monthly final entry, at least a semi-final performance.
Double Penny Ban coming up just shows you how broken this brawler is. Double Pierce Ban as well, same thing on this map. Chuck Ban to be sure. Melody Ban will hint for a Kaza early pick. There's a cold open though, and an Angelo. We do go with an Angelo one here. I think a cold Kaza combo as the 2-3 would be quite good in my opinion right now.
I mean, yeah, Angelo on this map, by the way, is kind of insane. Normally teams are forced to like go for Eve instead to have like a free way into the map, but Angelo is very powerful. The thing about him is that low safe DPS. Angelo is anti-personnel for this map. He's not really designed to be a win condition on that enemy safe, so you do need to make sure you combine it. The control he can offer you with these big one hits with brawlers that can get in and start to go after that safe itself. There's like a ton of options here, like the Colt mentioned, right? He is really doing great safe damage with his Buffy. He moves so well. Kaze has Fan Storm for free safe damage and also sick mobility.
I'm trying to think what picks you want to go into that. If they do indeed go cold here and not some kind of Nani, Byron or Bell to deal for Angelo, they do need to make sure that they have a solid last pick to handle the potential bull pick from the side of Legacy Esports here. I do really want to see the cold here, because if you give them Angelo and cold on top of that, you are doing a big mistake, and they are actually doing it. Wow. This might not be that good for them.
You have the Bell 8-bit combo at your disposal as well. You normally want to take both of them together because someone picks Bell into your 8-bit and then you are kind of countered. You don't want to have those shots bouncing off that damage amplifier. Obviously, you know, it's a relatively long-range composition, doesn't want to be run up on, but you have things like Nest Egg to slow things down. Obviously, 8-bit can use Cheat Cartridge to get out of trouble. See that come up on this map on occasion. But you're looking across and you've already seen, you know, Elektros with a powerful assassin, with a very versatile brawler that can break the map open, and here's the 8-bit to start us off.
Not a fan of that brawler, honestly, on that map, especially into something like a Ruff's Kaza, but crazy prediction from you, Uber. Are they going actually Bell with it? What do you think?
Well, they might leave themselves exposed to a Bell pick if that's the case, which is not the end of the world. She is outranged by Angelo to some degree. But again, I think the 8-bit's going to give you good safe damage now. You've got consistent long-range safe damage if you ever get that mid-control, which is what Angelo's designed to give to you. So I don't think you have to go Bell. You've just got to be aware that you open yourself up to it.
Why don't we just go Bull?
Yeah, so some kind of pressure. So Apex gets spotted. Brock instead. Okay.
To open up the map, I guess, with the Angela, they do have a sniper that could potentially profit from that. But with the 8-bit, you actually want those two wooden barrels to stand still there, so you have somewhere to place your turret behind. Things on the left-hand side. Are we on a hot zone right now?
That's crazy. I've not seen a safe zone Things pick in a long time, probably since Brawl Cup 2025. So it's kind of crazy to see him here. This castle has quite a nice matchup. This Ruffs is struggling a lot, and the Sphinx, I don't think will do a lot, honestly, into that. If he somehow gets a note and control, maybe he will. So honestly, all eyes on the castle Memon, apparently.
Yeah, this top has
why
no
doesn't he
range.
hate Bull?
I don't know. I mean, Elektros is known to play Bull in scrims. I'm quite wondered why they're not going from some kind of Bull strategy. Maybe they had it prepped for the semis, but yeah, we will see.
All right, well, here we go. So obviously there's some map break here for Elektros, and we can see already it's starting to get opened up. But like you mentioned, Zulang now doesn't really, he may not have a safe place to put that turret if those barrels on the right get cleared. Memon just taken down. That's some sharp shooting from Zeus, and now he gets to do some safe damage to the tune of 4,000 per hit.
Missed target presentation from Zeus. He needs to go for control. Nice jump there. Definitely focus for control first. Get your 8-bit turret on the field first, like that. They just lost 20% simply because Zeus wanted to take one single shot on the safe. The shield is gone from the side of Legacy Esports.
We talked about it. You need to be anti-personnel as this Angelo. It's important that you use this incredible, damage booster plus Angelo potential to one-shot some of these squishier brawlers. And here's Memon now back in the game. Elektros trying to find their way into the map, but they've done well. They exploit a brief window for Legacy Esports, and now they're just going to double down.
Look at Memon just going in, creating pressure that the team needs for them to do more damage. Geisha ult on the safe as well. And Ruffs is doing damage on the enemy safe, and they're up by 44%. I cannot believe this right now.
They pick themselves single shot brawlers into sandbags as well, by the way, so Snowy is going to get mega value off this gadget. Zeus comes in again, and well, Snowy is handled, so he's actually free to go for some safe damage here, but he gets one shot, and then the next one is shielded by a brawler body blocking off spawn.
If you're down that much percentage in heist, it's just impossible to defend, because one single mistake of letting this counter through to the enemy safe is just game over immediately. And Memon is doing that. He's just going in, creating pressure. Look at that. Gold comes in, but it's fine. The amount of pressure he creates for his team is clearly enough for them doing now to go up and do even more damage as the things of enemy safe. Yes, it gets money as well. Look at that. Get it hard. Really nice try from him, but there's Memon again.
Yeah, he's back. Hypercharge already, by the way, so as soon as he can get a nice big fan storm down on the safe, he will. Legacy are losing by 50% despite having map control for 80% of this map.
Castle coming in, creates full control for them. Angelo Hypo is popping. However, the damage on the safe is still draining.
Oh no.
The pixels as well, impossible to kill them. Game 1 goes to the side of Elektros.
Pretty insane. You see how this red side composition can sit in the middle of the map. They can really exert themselves. But Elektros come in, they only have to really be on the safe for a few seconds to do 25 plus damage.
But that's the problem. Zeus focusing with safe at the start spiraled them into the space race from the side of Memon to keep creating pressure for that. So they just need to focus on full control at the start of the game. Defense, 8-bit turret set up, and just go for full defense. So you have some good ults to finally push and do that crucial 50% with one single push with an 8-bit turret.
I really think they want their, damage amp turret in the middle of the map, not to the top right here where they had it earlier on. They want to be able to benefit from it and hit the safe instead of use the damage boost to try and fight enemy brawlers. Here's Rafiki very low. Snowy is tapping him down. And honestly, some pretty decent footwork to keep himself a foothold in the middle of the map.
This castle is just feeding on them. Look at this. She has another ult against this comp, which it's so incredibly hard to play as a player. They just ignore them everything. The whole mid is open because they do play too much to the right. As Uber said correctly, this castle is still on the safe, still doing damage. Insane lead.
Yeah, you really... And now you don't have a great place to put this damage amp turret because those barrels have been cleared. Nice shooting there, though. Rafiki combining with Zeus to get that elimination. No, misses the Brolstar. Zeus is marked up. And he goes very, very low to the detonation. But this buys enough time for Doing to get back into the map, and Elektros still have that healthy 32% lead.
That cycle from Elektros is just completely insane. Look at Memon again, getting another ult, which will help them for the next push to go through, or perhaps by himself to go through. He should probably change it and just put a gear shot on the safe. He's standing still to make sure absolutely that he's hitting that to pop the next shield, as you see at the top right now.
Doing well. He actually body blocks on purpose one of those Angelo shots onto his turret, and then he honestly just jukes a couple shots, gets himself back into the map here. Rafiki down to 2.3k. Here comes Zula and Hypercharge at the ready, though. Just needs to make use of this damage amp turret. But again, it's not safe damage. It's just pressure on these enemy brawlers. And Elektros are continuing to send the troops. They're just holding W, bro.
Think still to get rid of that Hypercharge ult turret, which is exactly what they needed, because that is the pressure that Legacy has. Then it's gone now. Another K-Shot on the map. Full control for Elektros. Then Cave got the Angelo off the bottom right. The damage keeps raining, and not a single shield yet got popped from the side of Elektros side.
Zulan's dead. He knows it. He's not even bothering anymore. He knows the game has gotten out of control. After Memen 1v2s his team, he realizes his goose is cooked. Okay, folks. Straight out of the gates, we are headed to a decider because Elektros look absolutely dominant here. It's a good map control comp, but Semantic saw it straight away. Saw this 8-bit picked up and he said there could be some real issues with this Legacy setup.
And I think this answers the question that we just asked earlier. Are they fine to deal with this kind of pressure for World Cup on the line? And clearly they are. The aggression they showed is exactly what we need from the side of Elektros to keep this game up and their World Cup chances alive.
Picking up the 8-bit, definitely a risky play into a Ross. You open up the map, but then you have nowhere to place your turret behind. Then the last pick, a Brock pick as well. Why do you want to open up the map yourself?
No, you're trying to throw up the sandbag, Sonny. You got the sandbag.
I did not really agree with the draft of Legacy Esports. I still believe they have what it takes to beat Elektros today, and they proved it to us already in 2 sets. We're now heading to set 5, and guys, it's exactly what we wanted. Finally, we have a close game. We had to wait all of South America yesterday to see it finally in the finals. Today, we get it in quarterfinal number 1.
One small thing about the draft as well, I am surprised that Cold didn't get picked from either sides, because if that 8-bit would have been a Cold, he would be able to 1v1 the cars easily and do damage on the save and potentially win into a Ruffs as well. Instead, we just have an 8-bit for the defense, who did only 2k damage on the enemy save, which is not why you picked him, and he didn't even defend, as we clearly saw, so it's just the useless of a pick.
And Zeus is the anti-brawler in Angelo, does the least amount of DPS in that round. Like, it's tough. And you see, Legacy did more damage overall. Over the course of that game, but it was all spent trying to get into the map, and then they could never actually convert that into safe pressure, which is pretty damning of an indictment. I mean, that says something's gone wrong with your game plan here. Your focus might be wrong. You know, you talked about maybe seeing the Angelo go for safe damage in that first round. It wasn't too egregious, but yeah, Zeus does take a couple shots at the safe. They get blocked off because there's a long time in between them, long intervals in between Angelo's shots. It's enough time for a brawler to respawn with invulnerability and just body block it. Nice job, bro. We're back in the game now, so.
Well, at least we get our money's worth today. We get a set 5
Who's
out
paying?
of the first quarterfinal 1 already.
They're getting the money's worth out of us. That's what I'm saying.
You're going to pay later. Don't worry about that. We're going to head to Sneaky Fields, Brawl Ball, a fan favorite. Who's going to take it though in the end? Team Elektros or Legacy Esports? Now, if you could revert your predictions, what would you say?
I will stick with Elektros. I think they got it in them. This is Bravo now, so we finally will see a bull pick for them. I hope they do to secure their win now, right now.
When they win hard, this Elektros team. I feel like they have got what it takes in a I can't believe we're saying high pressure all of a sudden, but remember, they need to get out of these quarterfinals to be safe for Brawl Cup. So just one more set and they're sorted.
That would actually be crazy if they lose the Brawl Cup ticket they played so hard for in February and March with just, a loss against a team who has never played in the monthly finals before.
The number 1 seed of a region, losing to basically the number 8 seed of a region in the quarterfinals is kind of crazy if you ask me.
I'm glad you did it yourself.
Honestly,
I think it was seed 13 in your case.
Thank you very much for reminding me.
That's crazy. That doesn't happen though, really. That's just made up. I think people just tell that to their kids to give them nightmares, honestly.
Draft coming in for Sneaky Fields. We do have a Shade ban, an Ellie ban, and a Nita ban. Crow first pick actually got through. Incredible pick for them. Really difficult to counter. Perhaps an Otis to 3 is the only chance they have. However, this bull pick, apparently with a double-side Nita ban and so many anti-tanks bans, needs to get picked. I need an Otis bull here, or the chances are over for Legacy Esports.
Do you want to play the bull?
Leon?
I want it early.
Bull, Leon are the 2 picks that come immediately to mind if I look at this draft, and both are left open, both are super strong. Please, NA, don't do that to me.
There it is! Thank God, finally we see it! Such amazing band through, such an amazing map. And I do need that Otis in mid though to counter this Crow. I think it's one of the rare brawlers that you have, with small brawlers in mid, that I can actually beat a Crow on this map.
If we don't see Otis picked up here by Legacy, is that an option though for Elektros?
No, not realistically, since we have a Crow mid already. You're probably forced to go some kind of Mo, or maybe Morosa if you want to defend against this bull. Meeple instead in mid. You know, you can do it. I would love the Otis so much more, but I guess that's a mid to deal with for Crow.
I mean, you can do it. You can also pick Jesse. You know, you can do many things if it's wise. No, in all seriousness, I don't think Meeple is necessarily a bad pick. Otis is just a more common one. We are used to seeing this brawler everywhere at the moment. On the left-hand side, we have a bit more error control. No aggressor yet.
Oh my!
Again, the Leon's still technically left open, but they decide to go a different route here. They want to open up the map. And now with Pierce and Colt, they do have a very solid comp. Once the map is open, the start though is all on that right-hand side now. Legacy Esports, if they pull off a miracle run like they need today to like get anywhere on the leaderboard really, they can also do it here in Sneaky Fields if they just get into the game very quickly and get maybe a 30-second goal.
Now, we have seen a bull into a Clancy already win, so I don't think it's necessarily going to be bad into this matchup. I think having him so much not uncountered is going to go really, really crazy. Now, we do get a rough last pick here.
Do they want to open up the map themselves?
No, it's just for Pierce, for sandbags, I guess, and to win the lane at the start. But yeah, definitely crazy range comp from the side of Elektros. It just depends how you play it, I guess.
Remember, this Legacy team, they got swept by Vatic 3-0 in the upper bracket of the qualifiers. Like, they did not look good here. There's a reason why they're 8th seed. So this is a massive step up in terms of what we've seen from them in the past, from not qualifying to barely qualifying here. Now they are taking it to one of the best teams in this North American region, have a chance to do the funniest thing ever. Here we go, Mentons and Meeple on this left-hand side of the map. Zeus does want to bully in Memen's direction, who's been sublime today. Definitely the standout player on Elektros, but it's going to take more than that to get them out of this series and properly into Brawl Cup. Here comes Rafiki, and he mows them down. That is brutal stuff. Duin cannot hold off Legacy and concedes the goal.
8th seed as to, because they have a lower seed to face them, and they're actually 11th seed, I just saw. Either way, exactly the start Legacy needs to have this type of control, to have a comp, to have a chance at winning, because the longer the game goes, the worse it is for the side of Legacy. The more Duin with a PS will hard carry them right here. But the big problem right now is that this bull has already a bit of ult, he has a bit of hyper, and eventually he will be able to defend. Beautiful ball positioning here from the side of Elektros, just perfectly placed, so they have it at the top, but also horrible plays, so Legacy cannot clear it and get it into the corner.
The map is beginning to be opened up bit by bit. Mentors and Meeple here, in theory, would have let Legacy back into the map, but they are not in any hurry. They are in the lead, and they want to see Elektros make the move, potentially leaving an opening to punish. Obviously, Zulan's going to be heavily outranged here by Duin, but there's a cheeky little shot around the wall as there is some homing aspect to those Meeple shots.
Not the best wall break here from McCall. Definitely just focus on them with right walls first. I know you want to break that right wall, but look at the dodges that Zeus have. Beautiful gadget combo, ult combo from Zulan here. Bull is getting rid of ult as well. That is the moment you need to go up, grab the ball, just put it in the corner. As a matter of fact, we're going full SK gaming style right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go there from behind the wall. Double tap there from Duin. Zulan, it could be in some trouble here. Ooh, good shots though, able to bring Duin down at the very least. Memen though looking to try and pinch, but Legacy have bought enough time for Rafiki to return to the game, and there's only 45 seconds left in the round.
And the big problem we have right now, you fed the Meeple already high ult. Ross has a hyper charge, which means Bull will have one later on. There comes one high ult. The bit is played way too early as well from Zulan. That might cost him later on. But Bull is also getting closer to his ult, which is really important for the defense. High ult in the back now from around. Actually did break a tiny bit of his wall if I see it correctly.
It did, yeah, just one of those corner pieces. Zulan does take a hit here from Duin, who's low, but they finally bring Rafiki down. He was on an island on the left-hand side of the map, and now with 17 seconds left in the round, Elektros are making a play for the goal. Zulan's low. Mentors and Meeple won't last long enough to prevent this, but Memen has to fight Rafiki. That's not a matchup you ever want to take. He charges in super there from Snow, but it's not going to be enough. 5 seconds in the round, and Crow is too low to do a darn thing about it. He'll await that round to expire. And what a start here from Legacy to take this first step to a set 5 win.
The hyper-charged ult from Ruffs in the back for Bull to get it. Then beat him on with free and then pull that off. Absolutely incredible play from Legacy Esports. Shout out to them now. They're gonna do that again. That's hard, but they're gonna have that perfect start to have an early go again. And Elektros is trying their best to not let that happen.
Elektros have shown that they, from round to round, can adapt to the strategy of their opponents. We saw it on Knockout. Memen those taken down early. Legacy going to try and run into them once more, and there's already a whole lot that Elektros can do about it. Here's Zeus. Zulan healthy enough, but can't hold on to the ball. Duin hits a fat super, and into the map, Elektros get.
The amount of shot that Pierce doing just hit is incredible. Memen just needs to be careful to break the map correctly here. Break it as early as possible. Perfect bro break. Look at that. Full map is open for Duin to hard carry this. And Legacy is stuck in spawn, but this time, not with a goal up, but on a 0-0.
You're right, the game is even. So this time, Elektros have a little bit less pressure on them to enact this plan. But you can see it takes time to come to fruition. It's a slow roll. Move up the map, hit consistent shots, break things open, and render this Meeple pretty useless.
Ruff's just trying to farm us hyper on the right side. As we just said, it's a bit slow-paced game now until everything warms up. Bull is trying to play with the gadget of Meeple. Cold ult comes in clutch though. The Bull on the mid left, healed up perfectly. Pierce ult comes in, hits one shot. The Bull is just an open target. A tank on an open map is not going to do anything. They're over there, but the Bull is still fine cornered on the right side. Zood on the top. Can he get the kill on Mehmet? He cannot, barely escapes death.
Very low at the top of the map is the Meeple. Mehmet wanted to come forward and now just tearing strips off the Bull. It is very, very hard for a Bull to get within striking distance with any amount of health left. Mantis and Meeple will create some cover for Rafiki to come forward. He also has just earned his hypercharge off that Ruff's super. And here we go, Rafiki looking aggressive now. Good jump away from Snowy to win under pressure, but able to escape. They kite Rafiki, bring the Bull down, and still with 3 players to work with, Elektros are again on the attack.
What an incredible blunder from Bull. You cannot go on the only brawler who has an escape ability with a hypercharge ult of Bull. That might cost him the game right here, but Pierce hyper comes in. Zurala actually dies from a crow poison right now. Bull is back on the corner. And it's all eyes honestly on Zeus to keep hitting a shot and get another hyper for Rafiki, because that play might have been game-changing for Rafiki there and might have cost them.
There's hardly any cover to hide behind, and 20 seconds left in the round. Eventually all of it is going to be gone. That's certainly a situation that's going to favor Elektros. 15 seconds. Rafiki with a super now, but has to avoid these shots coming in. The map continuing to be opened up further, and Elektros are in no hurry. They know they wait for these walls to come down. It's on Legacy to make something happen. First, it's Maintenance of Meeple. Rafiki tries to get forward, charges through Mehmet under pressure now, but look at the burst damage. Still Rafiki survives the first and ends up taking a trade. Zulan's going to get caught out. There's no escape now. Remember, the ball is in the corner of the map. Zeus trying to exert himself, create some map control. The team Elektros still aren't really in a rush.
Pierce has hyper, Crow has hyper, Bull realistically cannot go for a play. It's fully open map as the tank, as the Bull right here. There comes the Pierce hyper, Bull comes up, but no, the Crow hyper there as well. Fully domination from the side of Elektros. We are going all the way to a match point. And you know what I want now? I want to draw in the next game.
Oh, dude, of course you do, bro, yeah. You would love that. I bet you'd love the players to change their names to something that's unpronounceable as well, knowing you. Still, this is an example of Elektros adapting from round to round. They realize what they need to play towards. They realize they also got caught the first time by getting run up on with that initial push. Now you see that Legacy are on a clock. They're on a timer. They have to score early in the round before this whole nut gets cracked open.
I do think it will be fine, even if it's 0-0. The Bull hyper just cannot be wasted like that. If they have a successful Bull hyper, they could even score later on. However, beautiful pressure again from the side of Legacy Esports. Rafiki is pushing on the left side, Cold on the bottom right, trying his best to survive, is probably going down. We do have a rough zone too. Don't need to use it though. Make sure you have it for the next round. 3v1, perfect play from Legacy Esports. Broke up on the line.
They get that first goal, which is important. Now it's going to be their opponents under pressure. Elektros need to at least win this game to secure their Brawl Cup options. So far, not so flash. Remember, last month these guys got reverse swept out of that quarterfinal round. So they've had a tough in quarterfinals recently. The map will open up. Elektros only need to score 2 goals, which means they can't afford to play as slow as they did in that last round.
Beautiful warbreak here from him, and he needs to keep that up and somehow break them with left wall. Last time he did it great because he had the positioning. Now Rafiki does have an hyper ult. He could just go aggro, go for a play, go for a goal attempt and just finish the series. Let's see if he's going to go for it or how much of his patience he actually has. Zudan on the left side, going to wait for a get it. He has it. Not perfect hit, but that's fine. It's going to create some control and for Zeus to hit some nice shots on the right side as well. Cold now, pushing the left side. Ball placed higher as well. Go break. They're going on the side. Bull down. Get 1 kill. They keep up the pressure. Bull 1 shot ult, but that is fine. A bit more pressure is all they need. And the ball in the hands of Legacy Esports, cornered with 1 minute on the clock.
It's really tough for Elektros to get control of this now. They might get 1 goal, but even that is not guaranteed and doesn't feel super likely. They won't get to go to overtime. That's what matters here. They won't get the map opened up for free. They're going to have to earn it and do the dirty work themselves. Rafiki here is probably going to corner on the right side. Yep.
Yes, he will. Wonderful done from him. Just grabbing it because there's no pressure going to happen from Elektros. They need the map fully open first before they can do any type of control here. Wall break a tiny bit from Zeus, but that is still fine. He's getting his hyper with that as well. Cold hyper coming in now. Bull is needs to ult for Pierce right now. He's not doing it. Holy patience, holy kills. One number is falling down. Bull is going for a kill. Hyper ult from doing as well.
Big damage from Doing, but unfortunately those sandbags are going to be his demise. Zeus here able to stay alive with 8 seconds left. Team Elektros have handed the chance to decide their own fate away. Now they'll be at the mercy of how things play out in the rest of this tournament. It's Legacy Esports, straight out of the qualifiers, straight out of Compton, and straight into the semi-finals.
A repeat of the EMEA multi-finals. The top seed losing to a team that is not even in the top 8. A Brawl Cup slot potentially wasted. What did we just witness?
Second month in a row that Team Elektros have faltered in the quarterfinals.